Good morning, my neighbors!
We now go live to the alternative paper review.
Ladies and gents and everything in between, it's Friday morning and it's time for an alternative paper review. First up to the Sun this morning, who lead with Taylor's swift revenge. This is a story that the most important woman in popular culture today, maybe with the exception of Beyonce, I don't know, they're sort of on an even keel, aren't they? Anyway, Taylor Swift has a new album out and, gasp, shock, horror, clutch your pearls, she references recent ex-partners in the lyrics of the songs, which is very much her shtick. Reminds me of back in the day when, do you remember when Eminem was the biggest star on the planet and every single album release would come with this sort of celebrity trashing pop song as the lead single? You know, that was his shtick. Well, Taylor's is very much, you know, ragging on her exes, which is interesting, isn't it? Because if it was, you know, you look at the gender dynamics of it, if it was a guy and every time he brought out a new album, there was like lyrics all throughout where he was trashing his high profile like ex-girlfriends, everyone would be like, all right, you need to get over it, mate. They would say that was classless, wouldn't they? They may even call it misogynistic, but for some reason, when it's an attractive woman, like a Taylor Swift or a Beyonce, airing their critique of the relationship or their ex-partner, for some reason then it's celebrated no matter how harsh and dehumanizing it might be. You know, we've all heard the lyrics to these songs. We've all heard a Beyonce or Rihanna or Taylor Swift verse where they're, you know, they say he always had a little one anyway. He couldn't satisfy her in bed. She was always thinking about his best friend when they were doing it. He's broke. He's a loser. All these mean things. Like, you've made him cry. You've made him cry over there. Are you happy? Yes, I am. This is empowering. I mean, the thing that always gets me with the Beyonce or the Taylor Swift songs is, like, here you have these, you know, very attractive, very talented artists who put all of this time and effort into constructing the most visceral, acerbic verse to one-up their former, or in Beyonce's case, present, you know, partner. Put all of this effort into it. And then it's like, I made this song and it's so cutting. Oh, it's got such good lyrics. He's going to feel sorry when he hears this. But it's like, oh, wow. Yeah, no, that does sound wounding. Does he listen to that style of music? No. Never. Anyway, enough of the pop culture stuff. Over to the Times. Sunak vows crackdown on culture of sick note. This is a story that following our departure from the EU, we turned off the tap of cheap immigration, right? But now there's nobody to do any of these jobs. And there's this ageing population who need your tax money to fund their social care. So how are we going to get more people into work, guys? Are we going to pay more to encourage people back into the workforce? Are we going to sort out socialised childcare to free up the millions of parents who would rather be working than sat at home doing basically nothing? Are we going to encourage home-based, flexible or hybrid working to get more people who do have other commitments back into the workforce? Nope. No. Of course not. This is Rishi Sunak's latest initiative. He's going to basically stop GPs from being able to sign people off sick. So this is destined to go splendidly, clearly. And it's all rooted in Tory ideology that there is this untapped resource of productivity sponges out there. People just sat at home doing nothing, twiddling their thumbs, sat in their PJs. The reality is a lot of people are signed off work for legitimate reasons. You know, you've got people with weird and wonderful stomach issues, debilitating illnesses, you've got depression, anxiety, mental health problems. But equally, you've got industry telling government, like, it's really hard, we can't find anyone that wants to do these jobs. People like me are like, what kind of jobs are you struggling to hire people for? Oh, stacking shelves for 10 hours a day for basically not enough money to survive. I'd be like, have you tried paying more? Oh, well, we did consider that, but then what was it that you fellas in government said? We said no, don't do that because that will cause inflation, didn't we? Yeah. It's much better to keep them endlessly on universal credit, topping up their wages. And so, yes, we are where we are, and where we are is Rishi Sunak talking about restricting the rights of GPs to sign people off. So at the height of austerity, when Ian Duncan Smith was leading the Department of Work and Pensions, what they would do is they would look at the doctor's note and go like, yeah, I know your doctor says you're too sick, but we say Get back to work, you filthy soot-gargling pover. And now what they're talking about doing is coming at it from the other side. So now, in theory, you'll see the Department of Work and Pensions going, well, I don't see a sick note up the chimney. And the thing that's infuriating about this is we can all see where this is going to end up, can't we? People are going to go into their GP, probably 3 or 4 weeks after they initially called them. And they're going to go, I've got this problem, or I'm hearing voices in my head, or I can't stand for long periods. And the GP is just going to go, I'd love to sign you off, I would, but I can't do that anymore. And then this person is going to be forced to attend job interviews, and they'll probably end up in a job, because if they don't, they get the benefits cut. And you're going to end up with thousands of news stories about people who died on the job, or killed themselves, or had a meltdown and murdered everyone that they were working with. And if that happens where I work, all I'm asking is this, please, can you kill me first? Guys, that's it for this one. There's a live show tonight at 7:30, as indeed there is every Friday night at 7:30 on YouTube. Join me once again as I try to make sense of the senseless in the Aid Thompson and Other Disappointments podcast. I'll be ranting, railing and ridiculing the week's news, and, you know what, taking a few questions from those present in the live chat. Also, if you're not on the Patreon or the YouTube community yet, there are links to both in the description below. But if you aren't in a position to add to your subscriptions, like you're not quite ready to commit to my cult, maybe consider tapping the 3 dots below and dropping me a little tip in the tip cup by way of the super thanks feature. You can literally just pop something in there, maybe the price of a coffee, maybe I'll use it to buy myself a beer, which I will then slug down live on the podcast. And you can watch from home knowing you're playing an active role in aiding a 43-year-old father of two's crippling alcoholism. See you all at 7:30.